Have you ever had to shorten something and you can see that this is tapered, right? So it's going to have a 1 inch hem allowance on it, like that. And you know that you need to open out the seam so that it can sit flat. But when you look inside, this is what you find, a French seam. So nothing changes in terms of taking it in. The only thing is, in this case, is that I would just, this is the last inch that we need, I would just release that first, like so, and then I would just have a look and see what's going on here. So it's actually quite close to the edge, which is great. So I'll just trim that a little bit more. And then I'm just going to stitch from here back up to there. So I'll go from the top down. Show you what that looks like when I finish. Start there, taper out. Because I'm going to overlock the edge and turn it up. So there we go. Oh, now I've just corded a little bit there, which is very naughty. One stitch at a time. Just lift it. So even though this side was right, I'd caught it there. Okay, so now I think I'll still need to stitch that because I think it'll come undone. I'll just catch that again, and just when you do it, so just make sure that that's pulled flat underneath, which I didn't do. So see, even the people who think they know what they're doing still get it wrong. There we go. Won't worry about locking off because I've already done that. And now have a look. There we go, that's nice. And then now when I fold that up the inch that I need, I can see that when I overlock it, see how that will now sit up in there? That'll sit flush, which is great, which is exactly what I want. So I'll just do the other side. I'll just unpick that. The reason I unpick it is that if the inside, the French seam when they did the first row, if they didn't trim it enough, then when I release it, you might notice it. So there's actually quite a bit there for a French seam. Usually it would be clipped close to the stitch. Now see how that's come undone as well? So what I'm going to do is just quickly close that. It's just those little things that you do that do only take a sec that is the difference between a good alteration and a bad one. Now this time I'll be very mindful of the other side. So I've got to start sewing over the top of the original seam. Lower it in. And remember we've got a 1 inch seam hem allowance, so come down to with 1 inch, which is about there, and then bring it out. I have ironed up the hem allowance. Now you can stitch that on the wrong side if you like. I talk a lot about this where when you stitch on the wrong side, not always, but sometimes, particularly when it doesn't fit properly, it can twist. Whereas you sew on the right side, it might not twist. It's got less chance of twisting. Now I did do the hem the wrong side, but it didn't twist, so I'm going to stitch this on the right side. I can see the ridge where the overlocking is, so I'm just making sure that it stays right in the middle of that ridge, or you can put the edge of the ridge against the edge of your foot. By ironing it, and you know that it's going to fit, you really don't need to worry about pins. However, you know, if you feel the need to pin it, then, you know, that's up to you. Find the second sleeve, here it is. And you can see how I've got my fingers like that pulling it so that it's pulled towards me. And so what that's doing is that's keeping the pressure on this so that I can see the ridge. That's why I like sewing with these kind of machines with domestic, because it's got the arm and you can put a sleeve or a hem or whatever through there and do what I'm doing. It's a lot easier than having it flat on an industrial machine, which, I mean, you know, you get used to it. People who work with industrials will swear by them. Okay, now what's happened is I've ended up, it's not quite fitting. So what I'm going to do, rather than create a bubble, I'm going to come to here and I'm going to undo one stitch. And I'm going to pull that out. Now, what I'm going to do is ease that in to the rest of it. So I'm going to give it a quite a pull. And then, so it means that my join is further along, but I don't have that bubble. And that's just that because it just fitted in. So there you have it. It fits nicely up inside.